What up, what up, what up, what up?
What up? Are we live?
Yeah, we're live, brother. I think.
Oh, I don't know. Are we? You tell me.
Pretty sure.
All right, well, like the Reds' performance, we're off to a hot start.
It's a little harder when you're the guy who hits live, but you're not the guy that, like, hosts. You know, like, Trace kind of knows exactly. Kind of hard to do that. Someone says hot mics. Oh, I think that was not literally hot mics. He thought maybe we were going to say something bad. We only have the utmost proper conversation when we're not live.
What kind of conversations do you think we're having behind the scenes?
Yeah, Craig, I'm so blessed on this night that Junior Marte with a Y. He came in and he got one out to save the bullpen for the whole week. I mean, the bullpen is just set up so much better because Junior Marte with a Y got that one out in the sixth. I mean, we'd be cooked this weekend without that.
Hey, Tito knows which games these Reds are likely to win and which ones they aren't. And I got to tell you, he knew Chris Paddock wasn't the outing that we were going to win. He's saving it for Sunday. Wants to pick up that one dub on Sunday. Save the bullpen for them. Make sure you can win that one game.
Greg Peterson.
We're punting Singer.
Greg Pearson 1-2-2-3. I can guarantee you there will be no defending of that godforsaken move tonight. It was terrible. Atrocious. Oh, good. Will lives.
Great.
Craig too low. All right, so I turned Craig down. You're gonna have to help me out here.
We got to do more.
No. They said you're not loud enough. So I'm gonna make you.
Okay, so we over adjusted.
We might have overcompensated. I'm not good at this. I have no idea how to tell levels. So I just bumped him up to 75%. But he was way too loud on the podcast. I know that. So I can't go all the way up. So this is probably about that, but I need your help, chat. And Craig, you're probably going to have to talk to help out the chat.
Well, we got Blake Dunn up. 2 outs. Bottom of the 9th. Reds trail 8-3. Fly ball. Left center field.
Oh, you're so far ahead of me.
There we go.
He's spoiling man. You're spoiling
I'm
it.
so sorry. It's a really close game, and I know you're on the edge of your seat waiting to see what happens here.
Missed it. Just missed it. Let's do a show.
Let's do it.
Oh, yeah, I got to do this.
You have to do the show.
And a bench to bench. Change hit in the air to deep right field. That goes Clemente. It's the save. He's done. Get out of here, baseball. It's gone. Oh, my God. You believe it? Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep. In the dirt, it's a wild pitch. Here comes Foster. The Reds win the pennant. Larkins won the game. That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none. Welcome, Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again. Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Chatterbox is a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded. The outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on. Long drive. Right field. And this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive. Hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club. Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb. Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again. The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny
as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the Laurent Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Red win! Win! Line to right field. Genius, the first Red ever with 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Does it have a chance? The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, God. Are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win. What a dream beginning to the career of Jay Bruce.
All right, Nick. A thrilling baseball game, let me tell you. So honored to be here with you on a Friday night. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're looking forward to the weekend. Lots to talk about. I don't know about you, man. I already know what we're going to spend a lot of the time talking about tonight. And so I don't really even want to do a whole lot of like that preamble that we normally do where we sit here and talk through some of the big points. Like, let's just knock out a box score recap. Let's just dive into it. And then we will jump into the conversation that I know everybody wants to have.
Craig, are you trying to tell me you're trying to
with
keep
that?
a show under 1 hour?
I'm trying to tell you, I'm here. I'm prepared.
I don't
need
believe it.
extra
I
time.
don't
If
think you
anybody
can- I
needs
don't
extra
think you can
time,
do it.
it
I don't
might
think you
be
can do
you.
Don't think you can
And
do
we're
it.
going to give you that opportunity. Mark the clocks. 8:24 we started this show, Nick. 8:24. I'm writing it down. 8:24 p.m. on a Friday. We'll see how long this show goes. All right.
Yeah.
If you're good with it, I'm jumping into a box score recap. How do you feel?
I feel great. Never been better.
Awesome. Let's do it then. All right. Reds and Braves. Braves, owners of the best record in baseball, welcomed to Great American Ballpark for a 3-game weekend series starting on Friday night. Grant Holmes took the ball for the Braves, while the Reds turned to Chris Paddock. Ronald Acuna Jr. wasted no time getting the Braves on the board as he took a 2-strike curveball deep to left center for a home run and a 1-0 lead. Paddock was then helped by back-to-back plays by Blake Dunn in right field. First, Dunn robbed Michael Harris of a home run as he leapt at the wall to make the catch. Then in the next at-bat, he fielded what seemed to be a surefire double off the wall by Matt Olson, fired a missile to second base, throwing out Olson. Paddock was lucky to escape the inning with a 1-0 deficit. Braves play add-on in the second. Dom Smith, former Red, singles before Paddock walks back-to-back batters. A fielder's choice from Jorge Mateo scores Smith. Then Riley Austin scores on a sac fly from Chadwick Trump. Mateo would come around to score on a Michael Harris single, and the Braves led 4-0 after 2. Fast forward to the bottom of the fourth when J.J. Bleday led off with a laser to right field that Acuna didn't even bother to turn around and run for as it cleared the wall and went several rows deep into right field stands for a home run. Nathaniel Lowe added a solo shot of his own that was almost an exact carbon copy replica. Reds trailed 4-2. The Reds chased Grant Holmes in the fifth when Friedel reached on a bunt single and Bleday hit a 2-out single. The Braves turned to righty Didier Fuentes to face Sal Stewart. Stewart took an 0-2 fastball the other way for an RBI single to make it 4-3 Braves. Paddock settled in after the second inning, facing just one over the minimum over his final 3 innings. He finishes his day with a 5-inning, 7-hit, 4-run, 3-walk, no strikeout line. The Braves didn't allow the Reds to stay within 1 for long, though. Tito Francona turns to Junior Marte, called up on Friday to pitch the 6th inning. Braves go single, hit by pitch, double, single, and the lead was back up to 6-3. After a strikeout of Tromp and an intentional walk of Ronald Acuna, Tito called on Caleb Ferguson to try and escape a 1-out bases-loaded jam. Michael Harris lined a single to center, scoring 2. The Reds trailed 8-3. Ferguson then struck out Olsen and Albies to get out of the inning without further damage. Ferguson worked a perfect 7th, Maxwell a perfect 8th. Stewart doubled in the bottom of the 8th, but Reds couldn't bring him in. Maxwell a scoreless 9th. A single from Stevenson in the bottom of the 9th wasn't enough. Reds fall 8-3. They sit 29-27 on the year. And of course, we did have a deep drive of the day, a couple options to choose from on this day. We'll go with JJ Bleday. 4th inning solo shot, his 8th of the season for Bleday. Was a 108.6 mile per hour laser to right field, 393 feet. Made it 4-1 Braves. Win probability, Trace's favorite stat, went up 7.2% for a total of 21.6. It didn't matter. Ended at 0. All right, deep drive of the day is brought to you by QC Kinetix. If knee pain or shoulder pain is slowing you down, whether it's on the golf course, the pickleball court, or even in the gym, it might be time to talk with the care team at QC Kinetix Cincinnati about regenerative medicine options. QC Kinetix takes a different approach, focusing on treatments designed to help your body heal and recover. They're conveniently located in Liberty Township, right across from Lakota East High School. See what the team at QC Kinetix is all about. Visit QCkinetix.com or call 513-655-3356. Make sure you tell them that Chatterbox sent you. QC Kinetix. Better mobility starts with healing, not surgery. All right, Nick, let's get into it. The conversation I know you're anxious to have. We'll just get into the pitching as a whole. Chris Paddock seems to do what Chris Paddock does at this point. He gives you 5 innings. He holds the opponent to 3 or 4 runs, and then he gets pulled, and the bullpen does what the bullpen does. But we'll start with Chris Paddock on tonight. Your thoughts?
It's just hard to really have a whole lot of thoughts on Chris Paddock. Like, he's a guy that's just here to fill a spot on the roster. With Paddock, like, he's just walked a lot of guys, which I know they talked about it a lot on the broadcast. That's just not something you'd expect out of him. You expect him to come and throw strikes. It's honestly kind of almost impressive he's been as close to serviceable as he's been with how many guys that he's walked, because like that's kind of the only way he has survived so far in the big leagues is his ability to throw strikes and to pitch somewhat deep into games. So, again, this is just kind of what you're getting out of Chris Paddock. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be mad at Chris Paddock. He was a guy that the Reds picked up for nothing, and he's just trying to fill a spot right now. And, you hope and pray that Hunter Green can come back soon. We're continue to get reports that everything's good. We hold our breath because I do think that completely changes the complexion of this roster.
Yeah, for sure. Paddock so far in his 3 outings with Cincinnati went 5 innings in each of them, gave up 6 hits in the first one, 7 in each of the last 2, gave up 2 runs, 3 runs, 4 runs. But the last 2, of course, the big ones have been the 3 walks. He also walks 3 in his final outing with Miami on May 3rd. So in 3 of his last 4, he's walked at least 3. And it feels like they come in chunks, Nick. It happened again tonight. He walked all 3 of those batters in the second inning. Afterwards, he kind of settled in. I mentioned in the recap he retired, or I should say faced 1 over the minimum over the course of the next 3 innings, did allow, I think, 3 hits during that time, but a caught stealing helped him out there. But look, I think at the end of the day, realistically, like you said, he's there to eat a couple starts. And when Hunter Green or Rhett Lauder is ready to come back, whoever is ready first, then you decide what to do Paddock, whether that's a bullpen role, whether that's a depth role at AAA. I don't know yet how they're going to manage that. For all we know, it could be Brady Singer, if we're being honest. Brady Singer may find his way on the IL or to AAA or something. I guess that's always an option as well. So Paddock is what he is, And I don't think there's a whole lot of point in spending a lot of time on him because he gave you exactly what you'd expect from him.
Nicest thing I can say about Chris Paddock is I've watched a lot worse pitchers pitch for the Cincinnati Reds over the course of my lifetime. Like, he's fine. Like, he's trying hard. He's doing his best. Like, he's not really a big league starter, but I don't think he's also like this complete like guy that should only be in AAA. Like, he's like he's close. To be honest, I'd love Chris Paddock to be in the Junior Marte role.
So I kind of led into that. I think that's a reality, a realistic opportunity. One of the things that, at least in my eyes, and we can jump ahead to that Tito and bullpen rundown item, but one of the things in my eyes that last year the Reds had that they don't really have this year is that like innings eater, right? Like, they don't have somebody that they can go to in those middle innings when somebody only gives you 4 or 5 innings to eat a couple to get to your back end. And as we continue to have issues with the back end of the bullpen, you kind of need somebody to be able to eat it because you're only going to have 1 or 2 guys that you can truly rely on. So if that's Paddock, great. If that's Singer, great. Like, it's probably not currently on the major league roster.
Yeah, I'd agree. And that definitely has been something that it felt like has hurt this team is not having that multiple innings. I know that some guys like Sam Moll and Caleb Ferguson, we've seen it a little bit, have kind of done that, but that doesn't really seem like that's something like they can do very long or consistently. So teams don't do that as much as they used to, and I think it's the whole shuffling of guys between AAA and the big leagues, that constant I-71 shuttle that the Reds does kind of allow you not to have a guy that's only here to eat innings. But when your bullpen's as bad as the Reds are, it's kind of like you almost just rather have that guy. Like if you had like legitimately 8 studs, like, or even 7 and one guy that's, has upside, I think like you can maybe get away with not having that innings eater. But when you don't have, I don't know, if you have 1 stud right now, you kind of have to have that guy, it feels like.
Yeah. You mentioned Moll and Ferguson kind of had opportunities here and there to fill multiple innings. Crazy to say, those are 2 of your like potentially better pitchers right now. So you don't want them to be your innings eaters. Like, those might realistically have to be guys at the back of the bullpen. And obviously the news that came out today, which we'll touch on in just a second, maybe played into how Tito managed this game. But let's get into that, because obviously Paddock gave you what Paddock gave you, and his role is kind of undefined right now as we await the return of Rhett Lauder or Hunter Green. But the move to bring in Junior Marte, a guy who had a over 5 ERA in AAA in a 1-run game against the best team in baseball, felt like an odd decision to me. It felt predetermined, as if Tito was expecting to be losing by more almost. And I know that a lot of times managers try to go into a game with a game plan, but this felt like one of those times where he probably should have adjusted and maybe not gone to Junior Marte in that situation.
Yeah, that was just crazy. There's no defending that. I don't want to hear him try to defend that. That was nuts. Like, especially like when you factor in that, let's go back to Wednesday. Reds were down a run. They pitched Zach Maxwell down a run with an off day the next day. Didn't love it at the time, but I was like, all right, maybe the bullpen's just so beat up. But it's like you did that move with Maxwell to kind of save your bullpen to be able to use it the next time. So then you have a day off, and then you go to Marte. But the crazy thing is, you're at home, so you still have 4 innings to cover either way. So it's like you could have moved Marte back to the 9th if you don't come back. Like, what's it matter? Like, at that point, if you're looking at win probability, Reds were at 34%. And I'm not a big momentum guy. I know Trace loves momentum. I think that's incredibly overrated in baseball. But you would cut the deficit to 4-3. You're into the Braves bullpen, which is a good bullpen, but you have a chance against their lesser guys before you get into their, their studs at the back end. And it just was like, it just felt like you were punting this game. And I don't have a problem with the Reds calling up Marte. Like, the options they have right now, you're throwing darts, and this guy's pitched well the last 6 or 7 games at AAA. He has good stuff, all that kind of stuff. I don't have a problem with calling him up and having being the last guy in the bullpen right now, but that was nuts to me to bring him in that spot. Like, at least give your team a chance to come back, and you know what? Give him like 2 innings. Give him, say, all right, 6th and 7th, we know we're going to have to use, like they fell down by 5 runs, and they still pitched Caleb Ferguson. So, like, why not pitch Caleb Ferguson first for an inning and 2/3? Give your team a chance, and then you know what? If you get to the 8th, and even if you're still on a run, when you get to the 8th, and you're down a run, and you're facing the back end of the bullpen, your win probability is significantly lower at that point. Like, I know most fans are not okay with, I don't think it's even punting a game, but like not really going all in. I'm fine not going all in when you're down a run with only 3 at-bats left. Like, I get that way more than I think probably a lot of other people do, but I'm not fine with that in the 6th inning in this game after a day off. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing for me. After a day off, and after the day where, oh, by the way, on Thursday, who pitched in that game, Nick? Zach Maxwell and Caleb Ferguson. Those were the 2 pitchers that pitched on Thursday. So the rest of your bullpen hadn't thrown since Wednesday at the latest. So you know everybody's well rested. You know everybody's available in that situation. The idea to go to Zach Maxwell and Caleb Ferguson and Junior Marte just doesn't make any sense. Brock Burke threw a third of an inning on Wednesday. Pierce Johnson 2/3 of an inning on Wednesday. Sam Moll threw 1 2/3. So if he's not available and can't throw 3 days later after throwing 1 2/3, I guess so be it. Santion threw an inning on Wednesday, but like a day off and they weren't used on Wednesday just doesn't make any sense to go into today's game with that plan, unless what I said before is accurate in that Tito's looking at the starting pitching matchups in this game. He's trying to map out his bullpen, and he says, all right, I think with Paddock on the mound today and Singer on the mound tomorrow, we probably don't have great chances of winning these games. Let's make sure that on Sunday we give ourselves a chance to win a game.
Against Spencer Strider.
Only possible against Spencer Strider, but like Martin Perez tomorrow with a 2.70 ERA we'll talk about later, going up against Brady Singer with a 6.2. And then to your point, Spencer Strider, but Nick Lodolo threw 7 scoreless last time out. So I get it, but at the same time, you look at the matchups, I understand how the Reds might say, all right, well, Sunday's our best chance to win. We got to make sure we're lined up for that. But to be honest with you, going up against, Grant Holmes tonight, you probably should have thought you had a chance to win tonight too, even with Paddock on the mound.
And both starters are out of the game at this point. It's a brand new ball game. It's a race for the final 4 innings. You have 1 more at bat than the Braves have. Well, you didn't have 1 more at bat than the Braves, but whatever. Like, you have 4 innings left. You're down a run. You're at home. Like, I don't know. Like, this feels like a chance. You have a chance to maybe steal a game, and the issue with me is you had to pitch Ferguson anyways. So at least give your team another chance. I mean, maybe Ferguson gives up a run, but at least if like Ferguson gives up the run, you're like, all right, well, this is a guy we paid $4.5 million to bring in. Like, we tried. Like, there was just no effort in this. I think he just got Marte up, which even down 2 runs, because they'd already cut the game down to a 4-2 deficit, I believe.
Well, that's what I was about to say. So the Braves went up 4-0 after 2. In the 4th inning, the Reds scored twice on the home runs. In the 5th inning, they got 3 hits, scored a run. They had, as you mentioned before, they had some momentum at that point. So they're now all of a sudden it's 4-3 at that point, and you go to Junior Marte. I know Tito said in the past that he doesn't believe in like getting guys up and then sitting them down. So maybe he thought it was going to be a 4-2 game, and he just came into that 5th inning or that 6th inning, I suppose, with the expectation that he was going to turn to Marte already, and he had already gotten him up and warming, so he didn't want to sit him back down just because of momentum. But even still, Nick, the other piece of the whole conversation is let's say that, okay, we're going to go with Marte. Single, hit by pitch, double. Aren't you like immediately like, okay, well, if we want to keep this game even close, maybe we should get him out of there now. It's a 5-3 game. Let's try to keep it within 2. Instead, you leave him in there against Jorge Mateo, who single RBI single. Yeah, you leave him in there against Chadwick Trump, who strikes out. But like,
I
don't know. It just,
once you're at that point, I'm fine punting the game, actually, because I'm a win probability guy, and people are going to hate me for it, but I'm always going to go with, by that point, you're down to 12%. Like, you've already, like, you made the mistake, you screwed up, like, that's where you count your losses, and I'm fine. I think you have to, as a manager, count your losses in certain situations. I just think at the beginning of that inning was a crazy time to count your losses down 1 run after a day off. Just everything that stacked up to me. I mean, unless there's just so many guys not available, but even still, like, throw Caleb Ferguson first. Like,
yeah. Well, again, how could you have so many guys not available? How is that possible? They didn't pitch on Wednesday. They didn't pitch on Thursday.
Well, I mean, guys could still,
unless there's more going on.
You saw multiple guys wake up and be sore, and it could be a situation where it could be a situation where
7 guys woke up sore.
I'm with you, but it could be a situation where you had multiple guys where they're in a spot where they could pitch if it's absolutely has to, but they really want to stay away from. Like, I get that, but I'm with you. That many to me seems almost impossible, and yeah, I just did not agree at all with this one.
Yeah, it's tough decision to live with, and of course, partially made by the news that came out earlier on Friday. Really tough news. You're one of, if not your best reliever so far this season, Graham Ashcraft, basically wakes up a little stiff after his last outing, and they get some testing done, and it reveals a strained UCL. Sounds like, at least from a positive note, that they've avoided Tommy John, but immediately to the 60-day IL. And now the guy that you potentially had as penciled in as a closer along with Tony Santillan is also out of the lineup for the next 2+ months.
Yeah, I think Ashcraft said it's a gut punch, and yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is. And man, it's just everything that could go wrong has gone wrong with this bullpen. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. It's an absolutely brutal blow, because Ashcraft was really pitching well, and I don't think Ashcraft was like this perfect reliever, but in a bullpen full of imperfect relievers, he was about as close as you got. And yeah, I mean, they're just gonna have to try to find a way to kind of weather the storm. And again, I do think Hunter Green coming back does kind of help. There'll be a guy that we'll talk about a little bit when we get into Reds MILB. I think the Reds should probably be aggressive right now and try Chase Petty in the bullpen. Like, you're in a win now mode right now. The Reds have kind of put their chips in right now. They have not traded guys like last year at the deadline. Like, they're kind of in a win now mode. Like, I think Chase Petty's a guy that at least gives you a chance of being a good reliever right now. And I've talked with a lot of people, some people in the Reds organization, and they don't really like that the Reds won't experiment with guys like that. Like, we see the Guardians and the Brewers. How many times have we seen them have a guy that they bring up and put him in the bullpen first, or even if he started a few times and he hasn't really done well, they'll put him in the bullpen for a little while. And it's not like a death sentence. It's not like the Aroldis Chapman in 2012 where you make him the closer and he's never going back to being a reliever. We just saw it with the Guardians. They had Joey Quintillo, however you say his name, start in one of those games. They used him as a reliever the year before against the Reds. And so, like, they do that, and they bring guys back and forth, and they're able to do that. And I don't know why the Reds organization hasn't been able to do that. So, again, I just think, like, you need to have some guys with some real upside in the bullpen. And I think you have to make some bold moves, like either Petty or other bold moves like that, just to try to give yourself a chance right now, because it's just hard to look at this bullpen as it's currently constructed and be like, this is going to survive. Like, I'd look at this and I don't have a lot of confidence. And I really like the way Pierce Johnson, Brock Burke, Sam Mole's pitching. I think Caleb Ferguson has some upside. I think TJ Antone has some upside. But I don't look at any of those guys and go, man, that guy's an absolute stud. Team has no chance. There's not a single guy in this Reds bullpen that I think is a surefire thing. And that is a scary, scary place to be.
Yeah, the Reds certainly been bitten by the injury bug with the pitching staff in particular, Hunter Green, Rhett Lauder, Brandon Williamson, now Graham Ashcraft, along with Emilio Pagan in the bullpen. So I want to ask you about an interesting quote from Nick Krall earlier on Friday, Nick. One of your biggest talking points always is you can never have enough pitching. And Nick Krall, during an interview on Friday with Charlie Goldsmith, shout out to Charlie, good friend of the program, said, quote, "You're always looking to do as much as you can," when he was asked about how he addressed the bullpen this winter. He said, "We weren't planning on guys to get hurt. Hopefully we can get some of our younger players to continue to develop and take some of those roles." I know how you feel about pitching. How do you feel about Nick Krall's assessment of what he was able to achieve this winter with this bullpen?
I don't have a huge problem with that one, to be honest. Like, I think that what they did with the bullpen was about the best you can do on a small market. Like, you just can't pour all of your resources into it. I do think this organization has not developed enough bullpen arms. Like, they've done a really good job developing, like, the great starting pitchers. But as time goes on, I'll be completely honest, I feel almost more like, did they just draft really good starting pitchers? Because I'm starting to get very concerned about the Reds' development of pitchers, because they're just not bringing up any relievers that are studs. Like, you go and you play the Guardians a couple weeks ago, and it's like, I was talking to someone there. I'm like, the Guardians' top 5 relievers are better than the Reds' top guy. Like, and so, yeah, I don't know. As a small market, you just can't pour a ton of resources. Although I will say, in hindsight, I sure wish the Reds would have spent that $15 million on Nick Martinez instead of Eugenio Suarez. Like, Nick Martinez wouldn't have solved all the Reds' problems, but boy, he would have solved a lot of them right now. And I think a lot of people took him for granted the last 2 years because he got the qualifying offer, and he wasn't worth the qualifying offer. But that guy, he fixed like every hole you had. He stopped it, and the Reds are really missing Nick Martinez this year.
When we talked earlier about that length roll out of the bullpen that the Reds are missing, I'm sure Nick Martinez could have slotted into that early, could have come in and made some spot starts with these injuries. A lot of things that he could have provided, but nonetheless, here we are. Frustrating. Just to round out some conversation around the pitching, Nick, real quick. News about Hunter Green. Obviously, he threw a side on Friday, along with the bullpen that he threw on Monday. Seems like he's progressing there. Loved what I heard out of him in terms of the interviews with the media availability that he had today, in terms of coming back and dominating, that he's on schedule. Everything that we've heard sounds like he will be looked at in that July range, somewhere around the All-Star break, in terms of being back. So that is a big plus, but still a while away, and the Reds got to do what they can over the next 30 to 60 days to fill those gaps. All right. Any final thoughts on the pitching staff on Friday night?
Just please come back, Hunter, soon. God, I need you, man.
All right. Let's get into some super chats. Vandy 5140. I love it when we are down by only 1 run and we put in the guy who hasn't pitched in the majors since 2024. Tito Logic. Feel like we've addressed that one. Big Red Machine 76. Thanks for the super. I'm only mad that I can't blame Sal for the loss with his boneheaded base running. Sally De La Stupid, don't steal when down 3 runs.
Yeah, that was one of the worst base running plays I've seen in a while. That was bad.
Not to make it worse, but they were down 4 runs. And oh, by the way, you had a left-handed bat on at the plate. And oh, by the way, that left-handed bat was facing a right-handed pitcher. And oh, by the way, that left-handed bat mashes right-handed pitching.
And hit a nuke.
He happened to do exactly that by hitting a 400 or 390-foot bomb to right field. Appreciate you, Big Red Machine. Flat Rock 79. $5 super chat. I was disappointed with my experience this evening. Sincerest apologies that we couldn't live up to your expectations, and hope that we can.
I think that was about the Reds, not
do
us.
better in the future. I know it was.
Okay, all right.
Speaking on behalf of the Reds. All right. Speaking of nukes, Nick, JJ Bleday and Nathaniel Lowe continue to be huge benefits for this Reds team and are making a combined, like $2.5 million?
Yeah, I mean, the two just incredible pickups that have really saved this team. I mean, you kind of think, where would this team be without those two? Nate Lowe's a really good hitter, man. I tell you what, I don't think people are ready for this conversation. I don't know if I'm ready for this conversation, but if you do fall out of the race, you might actually be able to flip this guy at the deadline and get a pretty nice little return. Now, JJ Bleday is a little bit of a different story because the Reds still have 2 years of control, so Lowe's a free agent at the end of the year. So, like Bleday, I mean, feels like at this point a guy that you might actually have found something here, and I'm not going to say you're going to build around JJ Bleday, but he can be an actual legitimate piece, here in these last couple years of Ellie, as harsh as that is to sound. So, yeah, I mean, these two guys have just been great, and they kind of go right into the next point as to why it's really hard as a small market to spend a lot of money on a DH, because you can pick up these kind of guys, especially in this ballpark, and get a lot of value out of them.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see how the Reds approach JJ Bleday. Obviously, they have arbitration for the next 2 years. Could be an interesting extension candidate if they believe in him. But it's, this is a guy that's been highly touted since being drafted, if I remember correctly, like 4th overall. He's always had the stuff. It's just been a matter of putting it together, and whether or not the Reds believe that he's finally found it and that this is here to stay, or not, I guess, is to be determined. But he's hitting .287 with a .996 OPS on the year. Nathaniel Lowe, a .923 OPS. Both of those, obviously, by far the best OPSs on the team. Ellie's behind them at .840. So, yeah, look, at the end of the day, we can knock Nick Krall a lot for the bullpen construction, for some of these things, but the one thing you got to tip your cap to him for is those two signings, even though I know the next topic is going to go contrary to that exact comment. So,
yeah. I mean, these two have been very good. I don't know too much about a Bleday extension. A guy that's going to end his current deal or whatever before he becomes a free agent. It'll be after he's 30 years old. So his first year after free agency will be his age 31 season. I'm not in a rush to sign that guy. I'm just kind of happy with what you got. I'm happy that you do have more than just this year. I think personally, unless he's going to sign just an incredibly team-friendly deal, I'm not personally in a rush to go out and sign him.
Yeah, that's true. Combined, they are making $3.1 million in 2026. So shout out to Nathaniel Lowe and JJ Bleday. And one reason that it is so nice that those two guys have performed so well is because Eugenio Suarez has been kind of the opposite, if we're being honest. Suarez on Friday night goes 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. His OPS now sits below 670, coming in at 669. Of course, he missed significant time with injury, just 109 at-bats so far this year. But, man, for someone that you're spending $15 million on, you sure would love for him to turn things around and be the Geno of old and not the Geno of 2026.
Yeah, it's been a struggle. That at-bat, what was it, in the 5th inning? Oh, man, the strikeout just absolutely flailed at a pitch. I mean, it looked bad. This wasn't, not all strikeouts are created equal, Greg. Like, sometimes you strike out, it's like, yeah, he had a pretty good at bat. And then, I mean, you swing at a pitch like 5 feet off the plate. Just doesn't look good for Suarez. And, like, I don't want to just sit here and pile on Suarez right now. Because, look, I know he's had a difficult start to the year. I know he's been hurt. But you have 1 year of Suarez. Like, this is it. And this is why maybe I would treat him a little bit differently than even a guy like Matt McLain. Like, Matt McLain's got a long time to kind of figure it out and help the Reds. This is it for Suarez. It's this year, and we're discussing if Suarez is going to help the Reds in 2026 or not. And I'm becoming more and more concerned on him. And like, he was not good the last couple months of last season. And so this is now almost 4 months in a row that he's not been a good hitter. And he's the guy that was literally brought in just to hit for this team. And yeah, I mean, I'm very concerned about Suarez right now.
Yeah, obviously missed a month's time, but his last home run at this point was April 15th. He sits at just 3 home runs on the season for the Reds for a guy that was brought in to be that power right-handed bat. Look, he had the two games in New York that he did pretty well in. He was 2 for 3 in game 1 in Flushing, and then 2 for 5 in game 2. Had a double in both of those games. I don't know that I'm ready to like sound the alarm here, right? But at the end of the day, he's coming back from an injury. He's now played in 6 games since coming back. It's still early. I know that he wasn't performing like extremely well beforehand, but at the same time, like I'm going to give a guy with Eugenio Suarez's career a little bit more grace than I give some other guys. And I understand what he's here for, and that he's here to hit bombs and to produce runs. And he hasn't necessarily done that yet so far with just 13 RBIs. But his history would tell me that will happen. And he's one of those guys that, while I sit here and talk about TJ Friedl shouldn't be in the lineup and Matt McLain, what are you going to do with that? Like, I almost feel like you got to give Gino almost like a full week of just as many at-bats as you can possibly give him to see if you can't get him right. And after that, maybe you determine what the next steps are. But like, I'm not ready to say that a guy with as many career home runs as he has, 328, by the way, that I'm giving up on him and not going to play him as often. I just, in my eyes, I feel like you kind of got to give him as much opportunity as possible to get right, because the likeliness of him dropping off that drastically that fast is just too low in my mind.
He's always been a streaky player over his career, so there's always the possibility that he will. But he is 34 years old. Suarez's last 3 years in the big leagues, he had a 127 OPS plus, 114 OPS plus. I'm looking at the wrong one. Sorry, 126, 115, and 103. Jeimer Candelario in the 3 years before he came to the Reds was at 108, 126, and 121. Guys fall off quick. So
yeah,
I'm not saying bench Gino tomorrow. Do not get me wrong. Don't twist this. But I am saying it's not like this foolproof thing that he's just it's gonna happen for him. And I'm getting concerned that it might not happen for him. Not saying bench him, but I'm concerned that it might not happen for him.
All right. Well, time will tell. We'll see how Tito manages Gino's workload over the course of the coming months. But I think one of the challenges is that all this time we talk about, who's valuable on the trade market. How do the Reds get better and improve this bullpen or whatever? Like, Gino's with you for the long haul. He's here for the entire season. Like that's not going away. So you're not going to DFA Eugenio Suarez. You're probably not going to be able to trade him in his contract for anything of value. So just get used to Gino being in your lineup one way or another.
I wouldn't say never on DFA. It's a long season.
It's a long season. All right, Nick. Ready to do some MILB?
Yeah, just put up the Daytona graphic. I don't have anyone else. The other games aren't even done. All right, we'll start off with AAA, though. The Louisville Bats currently lead St. Paul 11-7. They're in the top of the ninth. Tough day for Chase Petty, as we mentioned earlier. He goes 5 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned runs. Did only walk one batter, struck out 5, but gave up 2 home runs. Another scoreless inning for Hunter Parks. Perfect inning with a strikeout. Is not allowed to run all year. I tell you what, on a team that could desperately use pitching, I would consider him. He can throw really hard. He might be worth a shot. He's pitched very, very well. A guy that's kind of had a lot of injuries that have derailed him, but I know a guy that scouts really like. Not a whole lot going on in this one. Edwin Arroyo is 1 for 5. Did hit a home run just, I think in the last inning or so, was 11th of the year. Noelvi Marte, another good night, 3 for 5. Kind of maybe would have liked to see him in the outfield tonight for the Cincinnati Ball Club. Michael Toglia has 3 hits. Vaughn Johnson, 3 hits as well. Hector Rodriguez, tough day, 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts. Double-A Chattanooga, they got rained out today. They're going to play a doubleheader on Saturday starting at 5 p.m. The Dayton Dragons just went final. They lost 7-3 to Great Lakes. Dragons now 27-22 on the year. Carlos Sanchez was 1 for 4. Alfredo Duno hit his 10th home run of the year, 1 for 3. Kind Vu, nice day, 2 for 4 with another triple. He's got 4 triples already this season. Daytona, they were supposed to play a doubleheader. Game 2 got rained out. Game 1 did not get rained out. They probably wish it would have got rained out. They lost 7-1 to Tampa. The Tortugas, they're just absolutely miserable. First half continues. They're now 16-32, but season starts anew at the midway point of the season. Tyson Lewis 0 for 3. Kyle Henley 0 for 3 with a walk. Ichiro Kano 2 for 3 with a double. That's back-to-back multi-hit games for him. Edgar Colon, who was actually just added to the Reds' top 30 prospect list with the graduation of Zach Maxwell, goes 4 1/3, gives up 6 hits, 4 earned runs. Colon has a 5.49 ERA in 9 games, 48 strikeouts in 39 1/3. The reason you see him on the prospect list. And then out in Arizona, the ACL Reds off to a good start. They lead 5-0 in the top of the 5th in that one. If we'll load here, I'll tell you what's going on. Steele Hall, 1 for 3. Adolfo Sanchez is 1 for 2. Nabio Mariano, 0 for 3 in that one. So that is your Reds MILB.
All right. Well,
Were we supposed to tell the people? Were we supposed to tell the people it was presented by 78 Munoz?
Not according to your spreadsheet, Nick. According to your spreadsheet, we have already accomplished all of the ad reads that need to be read for tonight.
Well, shout out to 78 Cigars, not 78 Munoz, but you get the point.
Yeah. Cincinnati legend Anthony Munoz has a new venture that we're fired up to partner with here at Chatterbox Reds. Visit anthonymunoz.org to find out more. All right, more baseball tomorrow, Nick. Reds and Braves back. Nationally televised game.
Yeah, it'll be Brady Singer, who's struggled a little bit going up against the lefty Martin Perez. Perez is having a great year so far for the Braves. Not a lot of Reds have seen Perez. The only players that have seen him are Lowe, Steer, Stevenson, and Suarez. Suarez, 6 for 11 with a home run off of Perez. Nate Lowe's just 1
Lead him off.
Nate Lowe's just 1 for 7. Steer 0 for 3. Tyler Stevenson 1 for 3. So, yeah, need a big start out of Brady Singer. And I said earlier in the week, Craig, if Nick Lodolo could have a good start, win or lose, would kind of make me feel a lot better about this team. I'm going to kind of put that on Brady Singer a little bit on Saturday. If Singer can give me a good start, win or lose, it'll kind of at least give me a little bit better vibes that, okay, the starting pitching, they can at least kind of help, hold the line a little bit longer until our savior, Hunter Green, returns.
If Nick Lodolo can pitch like he did in his last outing, I think we will all feel pretty good about the, at least the potential for this rotation, I guess, if nothing else. Like I mentioned before, Lodolo's last outing, 6 innings, 1-run baseball. So I was close. 7 innings of shutout baseball, 6 innings, 1-run baseball. It's basically the same thing. All right. If you haven't already, we'd appreciate it if you like the stream. Make sure you come back and leave us a comment after we go off live as well. It helps us reach more people. And if you're listening to this in the podcast version, make sure you drop us a 5-star review. We are live in your podcast feed every single morning during the season after every single game. And we'd appreciate you subscribing there as well. Nick, any final thoughts for the evening?
I think we had 2 more supers that we didn't get to.
Oh, did I miss them? Let's see.
You didn't
All
heart
right,
them.
Yep. Ron Jameson. If the Reds had a real closer, high leverage guy, this team would be good. I think it would change the bullpen as a whole, get guys in the correct role. Yeah, I think we talked about that a lot, but I agree. I mean, I think this bullpen, I'm going to look it up and see if I can find it, but this bullpen has not been good. And it's been kind of, I guess maybe like the Achilles heel of this team per se.
It's been one of the worst in baseball.
Yeah,
I think Emilio Pagan would fix a lot of that. Again, I don't think he's perfect. I don't love the contract. But him being out is a substantial loss for this team. As it does put guys into higher roles. So it does kind of mess up a lot. But yeah, I mean, Pagan, anyone, even if just Tony Santillan was as good as Tony Santillan was last year, if Connor Phillips would have kind of been the Connor Phillips we were hoping he could be, just like none of those have panned out. Kind of all 3 of those have gone the exact opposite direction, gone being injury as much as anything.
Yeah, Reds bullpen sitting at 4th worst in the MLB with a 5.0 ERA. Surprising that this isn't higher. Reds currently tied for 12th in Major League Baseball with 10 losses from their bullpen. They are 13 for 23 in save opportunities so far this year. And one more final super chat to get to. Big Red Machine coming back in. We're just a few games out of the wild card. It will be fine. Reds will have a great June and July. Wait and see. Even better August. Help is on the way. I really do believe that this month was identified pretty early on as a difficult month, but I also know that September is going to be a very difficult month. And we talked about the need to stack up wins heading into September and the end of the season, because September is a very difficult month for the Reds in terms of the schedule. So I hope they can get it going soon, because if you fall too far behind, it's going to be really hard to make it up once you get to September and you have to play the likes of the Padres, Brewers, Dodgers, Padres, Dodgers, Cubs, Braves, and Blue Jays to round out your season in September. That doesn't sound like a lot of fun. So
I'll worry about
be well above 500 at that point.
I'll worry about September when September gets here. For me, it's just surviving till Hunter Green gets back. If this team is still within a game and Hunter Green's back and the rotation's relatively at least something that's not a negative, because right now the Reds rotation is a negative. And until the Reds rotation is not a negative, it's going to be hard for me to really be believing and fully buying in. So if they can hold the line, they can get back to Hunter Green gets back. He comes back. He looks like the Hunter Green that we saw most of the year last year. You get Nick Lodolo and Andrew Abbott looking good. And Chase Burns, knock on wood, just able to continue to stay healthy. Then, yeah, I mean, I'll be believing. But right now, it's just hard to be fully, yeah, we're still right there when you have this rotation as it is. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't like to be this guy, but I am right now.
It's fair. It's a fair comment. All right, Nick, we talked about it at the beginning of the show. We came in at 46 minutes of hardcore Reds coverage. If you enjoyed tonight's show, make sure you join us live at Smoke Justice on June 2nd for a live Chatterbox Reds pregame show before the game against the Kansas City Royals. Nick and Trace both there live and in person starting at 5 p.m. Come join us. Get some smooth bourbon and some of the best smoked meats in town. That's Smoke Justice right there in Covington, Kentucky. For Nick Kirby, I'm Craig Sandlin. Until next time, everybody, this has been Chatterbox Reds. Till then, go Reds.